Hello, this is Gene. I thought I'd want to talk a little bit about some of the things that's happened in the news recently. I wanted to wait a few days before I commented, especially on Clinton declaring for the presidency. Um, as most of you know, well, all the 25 subscribers that I have, I am a Democrat, although it's kind of hard to still be a Democrat with the way they vilify men. But so I waited a couple days, letting all the other people, other content providers, come up there and saying how bad Hillary would be for the country. So I'm going to give my 2 cents why I don't think that she should be the president. Now I had this thought even before in 2008. I didn't vote for her in the primaries. Now I wasn't that smart. I voted for John Edwards, and we found out he wasn't the greatest person in the world. So I voted for him, and then of course I voted for Barack Obama in the national election, and I also did it in 2012. And it wasn't because I thought he was the worst of two bad areas. I thought that he had a chance to be good and be a transformative president. Unfortunately, he fell into the same issues that so many politics falls into, trying to court certain ideologies or corporations. And in his last term, he's been so, or I should say the feminists have been so far up his ass that he is basically a puppet for them, and it sucked, and it's hurts me to believe that right now I don't see anything that anybody out there on the Democratic side that I can even knock on doors to support or tell people, hey, give this person a chance. I don't really care that she's a woman. It has nothing to do about her being a woman. I don't think, it's not about experience. I mean, obviously, Barack didn't have that great of experience. And domestically, for whatever reason, we have more jobs now. Now, I wouldn't say they're the greatest jobs ever. We've had after the recession, we've come back, and our recovery has been one of the smallest ever. So we still have issues there. But people are still going to work. Unfortunately, a lot of people, the government is still spending a lot of money on people who don't work. I'm one of them. Now, people knowing my situation will say, oh, but you deserve what you get. And my progressive nature comes up and says, I think anybody deserves if something happens and they can't work like they used to work. And I'm one of those people. Now, obviously, you can see me doing a video, and you're like, wow, you should be able to work. And it's more than that. It's how my brain shuts down. And will after this video, and that'll be pretty much I can do all day. And that's part of the problem that I have. So, and it was hard for me to get through the red tape to get my Social Security. But I did, and this allows me to do this. And the reason why I do this a lot is just therapy for me. Not only just to hear myself talk, to also just talk, because part of my issue was being able to talk. It's still hard for me to have to actually find those words, because sometimes you'll hear me say something and it's not as well. If you would have known me before, you would have known that that's not how I would have talked, because it's always trying to find, and it's physically tasking to try to find those words on my brain. So, getting back to Clinton, I never looked at her as a champion for the progressive movement. I mean, she is so so tied into Israel, and I have issues with Israel. Um, well, we could talk about Palestine or all that, but I don't understand why we're still giving all the money that we're giving them. And I think the only reason why we still do is it's still guilt from the Holocaust, or we don't want to offend God's children. It's kind of stupid to me that we're still giving them all this money. But it's one of those things that people use against Democrats if we're not pro-Israel. So she is one of those people like that, and I think that she likes Bibi Netanyahu, and he's kind of a crazy-ass right-wing conservative, and he scares the shit out of me. And I don't like the idea that if she's in the power and he's in power, that something might happen in the Middle East that we don't really need to get into again. We've been there before. We need to stop doing it. The other issue is that she lies. She's been doing it since she was on the staff back in college, and when she was like an intern, she got fired for unethical behavior. Now, okay, people do stupid things 30 years ago. I did stupid things 30 years ago. I almost killed myself because I went out driving after I'd been drinking. So I don't just put one little thing there and say that it's just one thing that she did, but she was a radical back then, similar to her husband. But people change. George Bush was a coke fiend. So the problem is that there's nobody that's to me what I consider ethical. Somebody that's outstanding that I could just go behind and support. And that's on both sides. There's no way that I would ever vote for Cruz or Huckabee or Rubio. These guys all wise. Walker, come on. People around here talk about what a great job he's done up in Wisconsin. He's still an idiot. And so he won't get my vote. So this might be the first time in a long time that I don't vote. Getting back to Hillary, however, what really pisses me off about her, and a lot of people that the small people that watch my videos, and the committee that I follow and read about her outward shaming of white men. They continually trumpet on the left, and she's one of them that talk about women don't get paid as much as men. The 77%, which is bullshit because that's a medium, and it doesn't compare jobs to jobs. It's just looking at how much men make over a year and how women make a year, and women make 77%. Well, they don't look into the jobs that they have. And the problem with this, it's one of the big feminist topics that she talks about, is also rape culture and campus rape and stuff like that. That just pisses me off, and it shames men. We're already seeing it on campuses. Men are not going. Women dominate campuses in universities in the United States, 60 to 40. It's just another reason why guys will not go to school there. It's not because guys suddenly become slackers all of a sudden that they don't want to go to college. So it's so many things that come from that she and also Barack Obama tie or just plows that line, saying that yes, this is this. We have to do something about it. We have to have more laws about it. And at the same time, when they do that, it erodes our due process on campuses, and it puts people in jeopardy just because somebody said you did something. And all of us who've had women in our life, and every woman who knows this, that women will do things to get back at you. It's not like it's not human nature. They are just as conniving or worse, manipulative as men are. So it's so many things I read, and I'm on from both sides of things. the idea that it's not a minefield for people, especially men on campuses, is it is, and it's unfortunately, and it's my party that's making it worse, and that pisses me off as well. Now, the thing that I don't really understand about feminism and why people support it, I mean, I'm a lefty, coming more to the center, more of a libertarian now. However, I mean, the histories are there. I mean, feminist is an outgrowth of Marxism. Hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about, Karl Marx. And I think that, is it really the 77% that they're upset about, or this, that they think a woman who might be a secretary or somebody that works in the services industry, like maybe in a hotel, maid or something like that, should get as much as a guy that's outside in all type of weather, picking up shit, a construction person or garbage man. I think that they really believe this, and they did this in Canada. You know, they tried to make it the same pay. So when we found out, when they started doing that, what the men did is they left the jobs that they had out on the outside, and they went inside and they applied for what the girls were doing. Because most guys don't want to be outside when it's 100 degrees outside or below, or 300 or 30 degrees below zero. We do it. The fact is, we should be celebrated for it. I would love to see women out there on constructions, or be out there on the road when, without holding up the signs, or do anything that's really considered physical, instead of the feminists. And I'm saying women. Okay, not all women are going to sit there and side with the feminists. I mean, they're not all like that. But the idea that women think that they're getting less. Now, the question is this, feminists. If you really want us to be in a communist or Marxist type society, which of course your ideology supports, that you guys don't come out and really talk about that. So you would want everybody to get paid for the same thing. So you can do whatever you want and be in AC and be on the internet and say things about, be on Facebook all the time, where a man out there is dying on the workplace. That's what the thing is, and that's what you want to get it to. I know that's what it is. You wanted to get to that point that we get as much as the men who are risking their lives. Do I have to really say this? 93% of all people who died at work are men. Obviously, we're 97% of those people die in wars. And of course, everybody should know this. 80% of all people that kill themselves are men. And I've said it many times, if women had this going on, things would be done tomorrow, or actually today. There would be laws changed, so much money given to it, but no one gives a shit about us. And that's another thing about Hillary. Everybody talked about this, and a lot of MRAs or MGTOWs or men's rights persons talk about what she said to the women's group about women being the primary victims of war. Google it. This woman sat there and said that women were the victims, or the primary victims of war. This clearly is the greatest definition of male disposability and male's utility. We'll take you off to war, and when you die there, the women are the ones who are the victims. There's nothing more than that. I mean, that is exactly how they believe. That as a feminist, or a lot of people believe this, that it's the women who become victims of war, when they're not even there. So we can die, but now you sit up there in front of thousands of people, and you have this rhetoric saying that it's women who are the primary victims of war because they're still alive. This goes back to Boko Haram, who took those girls, and everybody got up there and said, "Get our girls back, save our girls." But the same people killed all the boys in those villages, and there was nothing about that. Very small little things in certain newspapers, but nothing about it. Another great example of male deposability, because I've heard this. I heard this online when I was talking to somebody about it. Somebody you think that's going to be it's going to be saying everybody's humans and all that stuff. Well, their biggest thing is like, well, they're still alive. That's what we should worry about. Okay. Now, obviously, those girls probably being raped and something like that, it wouldn't be something that I would like, but it's a further erosion of how we feel, how the media portrays men, how the political sphere portrays men, and so I'm stuck. I'm only one of about 180 million people that actually vote. I don't know that my vote is going to change anything, but I'm scared. I'm scared to fucking death that she's going to win, and all these girls are going to come in, and it's already starting with yes means yes, and consent things, and due process on campuses, and no matter what comes out, when people come out with these crazy ass allegations about something, and then we find out it's all false, then people still on the feminists and people on the left will sit there and say, if you even question it, you're victim blaming. Even though the accuser is lying, it's still victim blaming. I mean, it's disgusting. Last couple of weeks, several studies have come out that said that men are raped as much as men or women. That we find out that women are actually more ahead of men when it comes to domestic violence. And we know what's going on in the urban centers, that single mothers and what they're raising and what they do to the boys there. And that, another big thing that's, I don't want to be old traditionals, but there needs to be a check for kids. And when the woman is on welfare, the state is basically the daddy, but the daddy is never there because the state is never there. And we allow these kids to just go crazy. There was something I watched the other day in Memphis, like 30 people came out and tried to beat up another black man who was trying to help an older woman, a white woman, to get in her car because the women or the kids were bothering her. And you should watch it. Go and look it up. Just say 30 kids attacked a man in Memphis. Now, I'm not saying that's not how it's everywhere, but this is the question I would ask is how many have fathers in the home? And it's not always because the men just leave. There's a reason for it. So, my thoughts, of course I'm not going to vote for her. I'm not going to campaign for her. There are going to be people that are a lot more eloquent than me, better content providers that will say things about her, and I will share those. People were going to say that it's because she's a woman. It has nothing to do with that. I just wish there was somebody that believed what I believe. I think the government should be out of your bedroom, and the government should really, if they can, need to be out of your should be out of your business. However, I do believe in regulations. I do believe in environmental stuff. I don't trust corporations to do the right thing when it comes to the environment. They've proven over years that they don't. So there should be some sort of regulations. That's all I have today. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please put it in the comments down below. If you would, give it a like if you like it. Just something to see. You guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.